Hello, I'd like to talk to you about another planetary, interplanetary solar system event about a comet that had just flown by last night. They're calling it Comet 2013 near Earth 19, I believe. And these comets are being discovered at the last minute. But if you look in the archaeological record, there seems to be a discussion of a prediction of some of these comets where they are observed and maybe transliterated as gods or bringers of creation or destruction in the case of the Mayans, where a lot of their monuments are observatories. And there's that notorious 2012 clock with the inscriptions in Tortuguero, Monument 6, as well as a brick in one of the temples.
What is it about this date that has a special significance? Researchers believe a clue may recently have been found among the ruins of the ancient Mayan city of Tortuguero, one that was pieced together from broken fragments of a panel of hieroglyphs known as Monument Number 6.
In my opinion, the one and only clear reference to the date in the long count that arrives in 2012 is on Tortuguero Monument 6.
Basically, the inscription in Tortuguero was half destroyed. And everybody assumed that what it was saying was that the 9 gods would return on December 21st, 2012. But because there was some destruction on that inscription, certain things were implied.
For years, scholars dismissed the evidence found at the Tortuguero Monument as a solitary anomaly, without any special significance. But on November 24th, 2011, the Mexican National Institute of Archaeology and History revealed to the world the existence of a second artifact. A sun-dried mud brick that was discovered at the ancient Mayan city of Comet, with an inscription many believe refers to an exact date, December 21st, 2012.
Okay, so the mud brick with the Mayan calendar could be the date that the temple was built, which was 3114 BC in our calendar. Or the mud brick could be December 21st, 2012, when they thought that the destruction of the earth could take place. The problem with the mud brick with the earlier date is that before the last ice age melted, and we're still in the melting of it, it's called the Holocene. Religious texts of the Judeo-Christian ethic and others are saying that anything before the flood were demons. They were killed by God. Well, that is obviously a reference to the melting of the ice age and the waters rising globally. There could have been a melting of the last ice age by a cometary impact. And what we're seeing now is this procession of these comets and asteroids. 2 in rapid succession have been taken completely by surprise, that have past us, and these things are coming at us faster than a gunshot. So if you're standing around and all of a sudden you are surrounded by gunfire, you're gonna do something. Wake up and smell the coffee. We are having near misses of these asteroids. Okay, and it looks like they have come by before. Okay, so this is a website that contained a live video feed of this nearest asteroid that almost hit us. It's like it grazed us, coming in at us faster than a gunshot. This is a space camera website that watched it live last night. So it has become such an interest that there is a guy that has been able to build a website with an institution to watch these space events live. And last night, everyone saw this asteroid fly by us. Now, somebody has to bring it up. Nostradamus has predicted some things about some of these comets that people have completely discounted. Let's not even discuss the Mayan predictions and how accurate they were. Nostradamus was a French physician who all of a sudden started making prophecies in the middle of the plague. And they're accurate. So you could say maybe he used the I Ching, and a lot of people have plotted the I Ching into a computer, and it's come out into a wave that you can match to natural events, like the rise and fall of kingdoms, social events, different patterns. The I Ching was known to Nostradamus. Okay, Occam's razor, it's used all over the place. The simplest thing you could say is that Nostradamus used the I Ching and made a bunch of these predictions and put out these pamphlets. There are more complicated explanations for what Nostradamus did. Some people have traced him to the Knights Templar. There is ancient knowledge that the church has. The Knights Templar had as well. The Knights Templar used to be favored by the church. They had a falling out. Nevertheless, Nostradamus had some predictions.
One of Nostradamus' most horrific predictions involves a threat from the heavens that, if it comes to pass, could extinguish life on Earth in an instant. This is Century 1, Quatrain 69.
The great mountains, 7 stadia in circumference, after peace, war, famine, flooding, the impact will spread far, drowning great countries, even antiquities and their mighty foundations.
So, he's talking about a mountain about a quarter mile in circumference, falling out of the sky.
Is Nostradamus referring to an interstellar impact, similar to the one that killed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago? There is also another quatrain that suggests this extinction-level disaster could happen again. Quatrain 3:6 says,
And the sky will be seen great fire dragging a trail of sparks.
He forecast a great comet that would pass through our part of the universe, causing great cataclysmic changes on the planet.
But what does modern science think about this medieval prophet's celestial predictions of doom?
We know that there are large numbers of objects that are in Earth-crossing orbits.
Any object that is more than a mile across and is on an orbit that crosses the Earth's orbit is a potential threat.
These objects can sneak into the solar system unobserved. They may come in the future, and we may not have very much warning.
If Nostradamus' visions of a great fire dragging a trail of sparks and a great mountain falling from the sky are accurate, it may not simply be a warning, but a death sentence for mankind.
So that's what's going on, is that there's a convergence of knowledge. A lot of astronomical papers reference ancient Chinese records. The Chinese recorded all kinds of astronomical events. That's what they did. The Mayans were recording astronomical events. People have been recording astronomical events for a long time. These series of comets, it's like not a guy like just talking and handing out pamphlets, the end of the world is near. There are some observations behind it. And you can see for yourself what's going on. Okay, this is a Facebook's discussion on the near asteroid we just had last night, and this is Starfire Tour official fan page. This is her official press release, and she's discussing her research on time shifts based upon solar flares. Okay, so she's a television producer, and she's got a link here to space.com, and this asteroid appeared in the middle of a solar flare from nowhere. So she's saying that it zapped it in. The solar flare zapped it in from another timeline. This is her theory. Okay, what I find interesting is that supposedly church-going people go to church every week, all the way to people who go to church only on Christmas and weddings, maybe Easter, are not cognizant and privy to what they are doing when they're going to church. Okay, Knights Templar were part of the church. Right? There's some Masons are guarding the Pope right now. The Spanish conquistadors came in, found the Mayans, got all their records, and the ones that didn't burn, they brought the records back to the Vatican. The church has all of the knowledge from day one, and that's literally true. In medieval times, you had the king of France, the king of England, and the church. The church established universities that started out as colleges of divinity, where you would become a priest. Okay, so the whole idea of an education comes from the church, and the church started all that. The curriculum, and everything. Now it's set by directors, board of directors, who agree that, let's say you're in the state of California, you're going to go through all of these classes in a certain way, certain order, and then you're going to be educated, and you're free to go out in the world. And if you read your degree, there's some paragraph of statements there on the degree, and those statements that are printed on the degree cause a lot of hate and discontent of people who don't have that degree. That's a topic for another discussion. And so what we know about time and space from the colleges and universities, and the facts are well understood. The globally positioned network that's used for everyone's cell phone have to be corrected for relativity. And relativity is very well understood. Relativity is time travel. Physics of time travel. If you take the MCAT and you want to be a medical doctor, there's a question on the MCAT. Physics. Modern physics is based upon relativity and time travel. That's why all of the science fiction shows of today, there's somebody with a Stargate, a warp drive, an alien, or time travel. Okay, that's what's going on. I mean, that's the deal. That's why these theories are out there. So I would like to summarize this with a few points. One being that an investigation of these long cyclic astronomical events, we are forced to interpret the archaeological record and ancient texts. When language changes over time, things can be interpreted differently, or we could not understand the full meaning. And some of these people are talking about these long cyclic astronomical events. In regards to dates and the church, anything before the Ice Age is considered demons. And so you have an archaeological record and a hesitation to go beyond a certain date, although that's been shattered by some recent finds with pyramids and monuments that are 10 to 12,000 years old that are dated by everyone, mainstream archaeological persons, scholars, Science and Nature magazine, as well as ancient astronaut theorists. One of the things that's interesting is the Tortuguero monument says that there are 9 somethings returning. Whether they're gods or comets or what have you, asteroids. One of the interesting things about these South American civilizations is that you know, there was a 8-foot tall personage, bones, personality, an actual, you know, their god was buried in a tomb at Palenque. It's you know, flesh and blood. That's a guy, a man that they had monuments about, and other references are referring to comets, stars, and planets. Now, what is interesting is that the Vikings were often said to raid installations during some of these astronomical events. So you have an astronomical event, and then a Viking shows up and he takes all your gold, you know. So all these things have to be kept in mind. But what we have going on, and Comet Izon is coming up, and so we have to, we're looking, and we are seeing something unfold to us that, like a magic trick, we're not going to know the secrets of what's going on until after. And that if the magician chooses to share with us the secrets of the universe,